What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through our Figma file for this real client project. So the company is called Catsnake, also known as the Story Agency. And this is the new logo that Nick has come up with and the new brand palette. So you can see there's obviously a cat and a snake hidden in there. And they are essentially, they do a lot of work in the third sector. They create television adverts. Mostly they do a lot of work on legacy stuff. They've got some clever stuff going on that they call adaptive acquisition. It's all quite exciting and interesting. So I'll leave a link to the live website down below so you can read all about them. But that's not why we're here. So I'm going to show you our Figma setups. On the left, you can see all of our different pages, and we typically work down the list like this. So this is the thumbnail just so that we can pick out the project quickly in our gallery inside our home screen of Figma. And then this is kind of the level of a sitemap that we usually do. So this is what we do at the start. So we'll be working with the client and we will figure out what kind of pages we need. And we want to be working out what sections we want on those pages, why they're there, and what content needs to go in there. So for example, on the home page, so each vertical column we treat as a page. So you can see on the home page, we want to say kind of who they are, what they do, why they do it, and how they do it. That's the plan here. Now, legacy is all about leaving money for charities in your will. This is a big part of what they do. So this is in red. We were wondering whether we should put this on the homepage or not, like a little overview of what it is. And as we've turned it into red, that means we've decided we're not going to feature this on the homepage. So red just means it's out. It will go somewhere else. We're going to show testimonials and we're going to have a call to action. So you can see this is kind of what we do for each page. So we're going to have a page for their creative, their adaptive acquisition. So you can see here exactly what that is. So we've kind of got these notes from the client as bullet points. Then we can start thinking about what copy, like how we're going to lay this out, what copy do we need to write. We're talking about the process, like what would people want to know about adaptive acquisition? You don't know what it is. So firstly, we need to say what it is, how does it work, and what's the process kind of like, and probably some results and things like that. And then they've got all these other categories of work that they create. So again, we're just breaking it down into sections, just writing an overview here. So we want to go back to our client, we run them through this on a live call, and we have a discussion about it, and we tweak things, and that's when we're quickly like deleting stuff or making copies of this, moving stuff out, turning it to red if we're not going to use it, or turning it to orange if we're thinking maybe we need to have another discussion about this and put a bit more thought into it. Obviously, contact page, careers page, blog article page. So then here's where we're kind of explaining to our client, okay, this is going to be a single CMS generated page for each post. So we kind of explain how the Webflow CMS works here. And these are the fields that you're going to need to input in order to create a blog article. And this we're thinking, well, do you want to share this? Where do you want to share it? And they might say, Joe, we don't use Twitter. Everybody hates Twitter. Now it's rebranded to X. Get rid of it. And then essentially what we want to do is we want to basically get an email from the client that says, yep, we are very happy with this, crack on to the next stage. So the next stage is actually wireframes. So this is where we'll start to actually write copy, start thinking about layouts, although these layouts aren't ever set in stone. And that's what we say, obviously this is quite a boring layout. But they came to us and they asked us to create something that didn't quite feel like a traditional website, or at least when you land on it. They wanted some kind of interaction that felt quite different. So we said, okay, fine. This is our headline. We'll figure out the animation in the next stage. We wanted to expand on it a little bit. So we thought, well, maybe we can animate between the two of these. We'll figure that out later. And then we're giving an overview of each of those sections, and we're saying, obviously, these numbers are wrong because we've reordered them. And obviously, that's say 1, 2, 3, etc. And then we say on the call when we're presenting this, you can click on this, it's going to expand, give just a sentence overview, and then leave a button for the user to go and have a look at that content if they want. Testimonial slider, call to action, footer. There's no need for us at this stage to be deciding which links go in the footer, etc. But we want to be starting to think about actual copy. So then we've got a page for their work, and we're thinking about, okay, they're going to have a lot of work, right? They might be TV adverts, they might be campaigns, it might be an adaptive acquisition campaigns. We need to think about what does this look like when a project fits into multiple categories. Do we put a couple of tags together like this? We kind of explain this to our client again on a call, and we say, these are the categories you've got. And they actually told us, do you know what, can we change these categories? Because they often change over time and we bring in new people, we're always growing. So we decided to create this with the Webflow CMS so that they can very easily add categories as they go forward and they grow. Then they don't need to come back to us, pay for more dev work, which is, great for them. So they like working with us, right? They'll hopefully then recommend us to other people because we're not trying to rip them off. We're showing them from the start that we're trying to build something that's a tool for you guys to grow. We're not just going to just try and rip you off, take all of your money. And then hopefully they see us as a really great company to work with. They refer us. So we won't go into this in huge amounts of detail, but you can see we're just putting these tags at the top like I showed in the last video, just so it's quite easy for us to scan which page is which. You can see that this is a work case study page. Just turn the comments off so we can see, obviously there's going to be a video at the top. You've got the project title. If it won an award, we can put some kind of laurel here, the winner of the something or other award. What category does it fit into? We're going to have an overview. We're going to talk about the brief, how you tackled the brief. Are there any results and stats? Put in a testimonial would be good here. And then they often have lots of videos. So we've got like a video gallery, and then we've got an image gallery, and then we're showing related work, call to action, obviously. So you can see this, and we actually stuck quite close to this. You'll see in the next page when we go into the design, you'll see we actually stuck quite close to this, but sometimes we just want to get this in quickly, and we're not focused on the layout, we're focused on the words and the amount of content in here. So we want people to go away. So we present this, we want the client to go away, discuss it internally, really dig into it and think, do they need anything else? Have we missed anything in the sitemap? Is the text correct? Give us some feedback. We'll make the changes. Once it's signed off, then we'll just apply UI to it. And that really is quite easy once we've got all of the content signed off. So, we're like, well, maybe we can put some arrows in here. Maybe these can animate. Maybe this is sticky and this list scrolls past it or something. We kind of explain loose ideas. Sometimes the client goes, oh, that's brilliant. That's so cool. Can the arrows draw themselves and stuff? We'll say, yeah, sure, we can animate that. So we want to try and bring the client in as much as possible, and we want them to feel like they've had a hand in creating this rather than us just saying, this is what you need, and we know your company better than you, blah, 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 blah. We never know a company better than the client, so we get them working on this as much as possible. Also, we don't want to build the site, get ready to launch it, and they say, oh, old Sally, one of the CEOs, hasn't ever seen this actually, and she hates everything, so we need to start again. So we try and get all stakeholders in, especially as early as possible, looking at this content. So this is the level of fidelity we usually work to. So it's all just kind of black and white. We've made this blue for some reason. And down here we're like, oh, you've got a team. Maybe the team can slide across. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. We'd have that. So yeah, that's that. And then we've put the actual full team in here. And then if we have a look at our next stage, so once the wireframes are signed off and everybody's happy, we start to put together our style guide. So by this point, hopefully Nick has finished working on the branding. The UI team has finished working on the wireframes and the content. So we can start to build this out. So we've got our typography here. So I'll just turn the UI off for a moment so we can see it a bit better. So we try and leave a little note here for our future self. So we're saying this typography scale is based on the FinSuite client first system. So that's the tag naming we're using. And we're using a major third scale with 24 being the base size. So we know that's how we've generated the scale of typography here. And we just pop them all in. So we've got our 6 headers, and then we've got our 5 body copy sizes. Then our color palette here. So split out to kind of like our neutral colors. So you can see here, this one's called background. So we give them all a name. So we've got primary 1 up to primary 4. So we have 4 shades of each color. And that looks great. And, we might start, this is what Nick will give us, and we might start working with this, and we might say, do you know what, we actually need a lighter shade of all of these. Can you just supply us a 0? Or we bump this up to number 5 and we make a lighter shade and call it number 1. Then we've got our button system. So this is our kind of standard button system that we use. So we have large, medium and small. And then we've got regular and ghost versions. And then we have icon right, icon left, or no icon. And yeah, let us know if you want a tutorial on how to set that up. That's quite easy. Then our iconography, we have all these ones which we use pretty much in every project. You know, if we need a different chevron style, we'll just swap out the icon inside there. And then we had a different arrow style for this project, so we just added these in. Again, like, we don't need 7,000 icons in here. We just need what we need. The fewer things we have, the fewer decisions there are, the quicker we can get a project out. And then here's our components page where we just drag stuff in that we know we need to reuse throughout the project in the next few months, for example. So we've got all of the shapes. So this came out of the branding work that Nick did. So we know we've got all of these things to play with. We've got our colors, we've got our typography. We thought at one point we thought we were going to create some patterns, and we actually only created one pattern, which is just down here in the footer. So you know, our footer and our call to action is used on every page, so we've popped these in here. And that's about it for our style guide. And then we move into design direction, which I think I showed in the last one, which is an absolute mess. Sometimes it is absolutely disgusting in here. Like, there's some really bad things going on. You know, like, this just looks so basic and rubbish, but we're just, you know, chucking ideas together. Like, how can we work with these colors and these patterns? What does it feel like? Like, this stuff started to feel quite nice. These big open buttons started to feel nice. It works quite nicely with that big bold headline. You know, what does the imagery look like? Like, should we have rounded corners on stuff? Should we close everything out in a menu like this? Because they wanted like quite an immersive experience, and for it to not feel too much like a traditional website. So we wondered, oh, could we stack pictures on top of shapes and expand them as we scroll or something like that? And we didn't put too much work into this. We just kind of got something around here, and we thought, you know, this stuff is kind of quite cool. We could have some big type going on. We can have some big shapes, big titles. Let's just see what the client thinks. And they literally just looked at this and said, yeah, it's brilliant. We thought, you know, could we have big screen white transition between pages? And they said, yes, please. They actually designed the animation for this. So when you open the site, any page transition, a gold door just opens. That's what they asked for. Pretty easy to build, and it worked quite well. So you're like, fine, we've got the wireframes, got the content signed off, we've got a rough look. Let's just move into design. And then this is our overall finished design. So let's turn the comments off, because that's a bit of a mess. Let's turn the UI off. There we go. And this is kind of where we ended up. So this took a little while. Obviously, there's quite a lot of pages here. Let's have a look at the home page. So quite hard to kind of design this, because we knew we wanted to hide the logo to start. That was the initial plan. You actually see we brought the logo back in a second version of the website. And we thought we just want this text to animate in. We want some kind of pulsing circles, and we want the user to kind of zoom into this as we come into the website. We didn't really know how we would build this, but this kind of felt quite cool to us. And then we'd tackle that in development, which was quite fun, and you'll see it in a moment. So then we thought, here's the logos, you know, and we say to the client, like, these are just going to be scrolling across the screen. And we've made them really big because they have huge clients. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. So they've got really big clients, really impressive. So don't have these tiny little logos that everybody does. Let's blow them up and make a massive feature out of it. And then you've got so many different aspects to this website. We want to give people an option to show an overview of everything and then branch out to where you want to. So you can see all of this stuff, and we're kind of showing, like, maybe we can have a custom cursor in here. Maybe when we hover over these, they turn gold, and you click and the number changes to the word close. You can read a little intro and you can click a button. We're bringing in some like branded dividers, which kind of works, right? Nothing amazing. We're thinking, can we use some of these cool shapes behind the testimonials? That's just a random person. Really basic call to action, but hopefully it's just bold enough to get some cut through. And then underneath the call to action, we're thinking we keep the footer stuck in place. The call to action scrolls and reveals the footer. So everybody likes the idea of that, and that was fun to build. Then we've got these pages, which are pretty straightforward, and we're using these branded circles. So each kind of subsection of work that these guys do, we've given them a pattern, right? So this one is created with circles. So then we're repeating circles throughout the page. Okay, and you'll have a look. If I zoom out, we've got over here, we've got strategy and stewardship, and this pattern is made out of squares, so we're using squares. This pattern's made out of squares again, but sort of diamonds, so we're using diamonds. And it's a pretty simple concept, and it does look like quite a basic page, but what we've done is we've just kind of put an interaction on these. So as you scroll in, they kind of rotate and scale just to make it feel a little bit more engaging. But there's no need to overdo it, really. So we always try to think of, less is more. This page I think is quite nice. So this is that adaptive acquisition that we were talking about before. So we're just giving an overview. What does it do? And you'll see we're reusing this kind of style of having a big header and a little underline. And we thought maybe the header can fade in and the line can draw to just call a bit of attention to each of these sections. And then you can have it left aligned or centered aligned. So we're just reusing this everywhere. So again, like we've designed this once, let's just reuse it. There's no need to have 6 different intro sections for sections. Let's just make them all the same. Much easier for a user to kind of navigate through a site and kind of set them up with some styles at the start, and then they're just easily looking without even thinking for repeatable patterns. Some icons here, and we actually got some feedback on these and have changed the icons because they said, is there any way we could kind of bring a bit more character to these or make it feel like each one has a different icon? So Nick has come up with a new range of icons for these, which actually didn't make it into here. We just made that change in development. Big stats, more animated logos. Here's the process. So we just brought a little bit of color into that. So this is pretty much what it looked like in the wireframes, and it turns out it was a decent layout. It's fine. So let's just use it. And then we're kind of doing some cross-selling at the bottom, just kind of showing, what campaigns live in this category. And because the CMS is set up with all of their projects and each project is tagged with a category, it's very easy for us to just put the list on each page, and we're going to say that we'll just put all the projects here, only show 2 and only show the ones that live in adaptive acquisition. And we do that all over the site, and that's super easy to set up. And we've got that template page here where we changed it a little bit because we actually realized once we started to build it that if we have the video at the top, you actually don't have any information at all. So we put the H1 and stuff at the top, putting some branding behind the video just to make it a little bit more interesting. We're bringing in that divider again that we're using all over the place. Again, you see here, each section has just got this little gold underline again. It makes it very easy to scan. Putting out some images so the client can see what it might look like, and then showing other campaigns. And yeah, that's about it really. I mean, you can see the rest, and you'll see the rest in the live site. We should probably talk about the clients over here. So this is where we started. So obviously we just repeated some logos. In my opinion, there's no point in us actually putting these in alphabetical order or downloading every single logo and putting it in. It's going to take us hours. The client's going to upload all of these logos. They actually had them in an Airtable database, I think, anyway, that we could just port directly into Webflow. So it would just been a waste of time for us to put them in here. But we were going to say, look, you can have a toggle inside this collection list to say, turn this on to show it in the top section or turn it off to show it in the bottom section. Because, not everybody's going to sit here and scroll through thousands of logos. They might just go, oh, wow, look at that. Okay, next page. And we actually made the decision to not break these out. So we have on the live site, we've got 2 collection lists right on top of one another, but it just looks like they're part of one grid rather than actually saying, these are our best clients and these are our average clients, because actually we realized that's probably not a very good thing to do. These people who are in like the average category wouldn't be feeling very good about themselves, right? Pretty standard blog, contact, pretty standard. We came up with these nice link blocks, which I think is nice, some nice icons, form, sign up to a newsletter. There's their office, footer, pretty standard stuff. They've got careers, pages, and then yeah, we just needed a little mock-up for a redirect. So after somebody sends the form, we're going to send them to this page, and then we can use that to help us in our analytics. And then if last thing we look at over here, if we just have a look at the menu. So this is the layout we came up with for the mega nav. So you click that, the icon's going to animate, spin around to an X, and then we wanted it to all kind of animate in and feel quite nice and luxurious. So that's the site, that's the Figma file. Hope you enjoyed the look. Let's have a quick look at how this actually turned out. So here's our homepage. Can I make this full screen? There we go. And I will refresh. Now, just bear in mind on a screen share here that the animations aren't going to be great, but have a look. I'll leave a link to the site down below, so have a look and feel free to navigate the site yourself. So if I refresh, doors open, the words type out, we can scroll down, and as we scroll down, everything kind of scales, the lines scale, and we're going to take the user into the page like this. It's really janky interaction on the screen share, sorry. We've got our copy, we've got our animated logos. Everything kind of fades in as we scroll down. We can hover over these and open them up. Here we can see the open and close. You see the content, the text is updating over here as we open and close. You could click on this, go to the about page, or whatever page it was. Here's our slider. Here's our call to action, and here's the footer reveal here. And then we can open up the menu and it all animates in nicely. And yeah, we are very happy with this. You can click and copy the email address, which is always a nice touch. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this look into the Catsnake website. If you would like to see more stuff like this, please let us know. We're very happy to run through how we do things here. And have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.